America, good times, Iowa Hawkeyes, backyard barbecues, and football. Howdy, I'm BR, and welcome to today's beer review. We'll be looking at Busch Light. Now, if you don't know what Busch Light is, where the fuck have you been? Now, if you don't drink Busch Light, well, you're probably not from the Midwest. Now, as I've said before, we'll be looking at beers from all ranges. I mean, craft brews to American light lagers, and here we are at that end of the spectrum. Now, I believe all beers have their place, and for you beer aficionados, you craft brew diehards out there, you've probably turned me off by now, so I don't know why the fuck I'm still talking to you. But Busch Light has its place. It really does. Excuse me. Now I'm going to address you real hard-nosed beer drinkers first. If you're a home brewer, a brewery owner, you're not trying to drink your high ABV home brew when you're brewing. You need a nice mellow brew that can kind of keep you within those parameters of functional yet buzzed. And you know what? Busch Light does that. It really does. Well, it may not be the flagship. It is a namesake of the Anheuser-Busch Corporation. Whose parent is out of Belgium these days or something. But, you know what? It is probably one of the first beers I ever drank in my life. I drank it for years. Obviously, I still partake in the Bushy Pop, or the Busch Latte. Honestly, myself, I'm a bigger fan of the Busch Heavy, but the Busch Light has its place. Its taste has been compared to river water or lake water or just regular fluoride city water, but it has a taste for sure. It's easy drinking, it's mellow, it won't get you drunk. You can drink this all day long. You really can. I myself, during college years, not my college years, but when other people I knew were in college, I drank, 30, 35 of these fuckers in one night one time. Not that I advocate that, and of course don't ever drink and drive, don't ever drink while pregnant or breastfeeding, don't drink and operate machinery. We don't want that, that's not responsible. But all around it is it's beer. It says it's beer, so let's dive right in, shall we? So as usual, I have my my beer tablet here. It's some facts that I've looked up on our featured beer here. I got straight from the Anheuser-Busch website. They actually Busch has its own section there. So let's continue, shall we? It is a 4.1 ABV, which is very low. So you can drink it and still function for the most part. Like I said, you can't drive. Don't drink a beer and drive. Don't drink several beers and drive. You can't do that. But if you're going to hang out at home and do stuff around the house, there's no reason you can't buy yourself a half rack and just kill it in 8 hours. I mean, it'll be fine. Trust me. There is very little alcohol in these, but enough to do the job. Much better than a 3.2 beer, which you folks out in Utah and Colorado know all too well. Cheers, folks. One of the nice things about Busch Light here is it is only 95 calories. I don't know much about diet and calories and exercise. I feel like I probably should start getting into that, but that's pretty low, so again, you don't have to feel too bad about having those. I reviewed a beer from the other end of the spectrum earlier, Elysian's Space Dust. I guarantee you the calories are a lot higher on that beer. So, like I said, this is don't feel guilty. Have 7. Cheers. It does in fact have 7/10 of a gram of protein. I didn't know about that until I did my research earlier. So that's something. It doesn't replace a good steak, but yeah. I mean, shit, if you drink 10 of these, 7 grams of protein. So, what are you waiting for? Get started. Carbs, I know a lot of people out there are counting carbs these days. Only has 3.2 grams of carbs. I'm not familiar with those measurements. Obviously, someone out there is. So let's just take this in, consider what I've said, and if this beer is for you, then by no means don't drink. This is good beer. This is good beer. Uses. So tailgating is what immediately comes to mind with this particular beer. Great for tailgating. Parties, get-togethers. Not your sit around and let's discuss throw. Maybe more like let's get wild and have a bonfire. That's kind of what a responsible bonfire. That's kind of more what I'm thinking with this beer is go out and buy some Meg Bombs or Meggers, or which is what I call a 30-pack of Busch or Busch Light. Get the folks together and just get drunk. That's what it's good for. Or as far as after work goes, you're probably looking at 6-pack to really get to that relaxation phase. Honestly, maybe 4 depending on your tolerance. Overall, just it's a reliable beer. It's a very reliable beer. I like them. They definitely have their place. Busch Light. It's beer, they say. Cheers to that.